Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Cara Delane and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings and Cara Delane.
Welcome, everyone, to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. And we have a good crew tonight, Ted.
Cara, we got a great crew, and, we're still in that Wild West mode. I can't leave it alone. I really like it. I like the music. I like the whole thing. So we have a great featured panel tonight of experts and some of the best technology out there right now for dealerships. I'd like to really quick, Cara, introduce the folks who are with us tonight. Steve Hill from I-10 Toyota out in California is with us, a great friend of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, as is Ed Roberts from Bozard Ford Lincoln, everybody will know. I want to introduce tonight Ryan Maher, who is with Busy Car in St. Louis. Great new technology, revolutionary recall technology, and Mike Murray, who's with him as well. They're coming to us live tonight, and we are really blessed to have with us tonight Corey Roberts, who is the new president and CRO of WarCloud, a great friend of the Fixed Ops Roundtable and community. Hey, Corey, great to see you again.
Great to be back, Ted.
Corey, you got a lot on the go. Big announcement a couple weeks ago, so I'm excited to share everything that's going on. And Cara, we are live tonight, right?
We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, Ted. So I bet I'm going to see quite a few comments tonight. So if you're watching us, share the video and drop some comments down below for our guests.
Now, it's still a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months out, but we do have another event coming up after the Wild West, Cara. And this one I'm pretty excited about because I was telling Ed that I'm going to be growing a mullet for this one. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yep. So Ted is definitely growing out a mullet. We had a poll on the last After Dark show. So now you're stuck with it, Ted. You have to grow out the mullet because we're bringing it back to the 80s at the next Fixed Ops Roundtable. And that is going to be happening May 15th, 17th, and 18th. So it'll be our second 4-day virtual Fixed Ops Roundtable, and you can already get your complimentary tickets at fixedopsroundtable.com.
Cara, I guess this 4-day thing is going to stick now. We've done the one in January, now another one lined up in May, and I guess we can't go back to the old format.
I think there's a need for that 4th day, Ted, so we got to keep up.
All right, and we are very, very honored tonight to have with us our exclusive sponsor. They're up in the right-hand corner of BG Products, Partners Beyond Products, for the After Dark show, and thank them for all they do for our industry. So, Ed, a lot on the go, a lot happening, and these gentlemen tonight and Cara are on the forefront of all that's happening.
Man, you brought all the horsepower tonight, but I just can't get past you having a mullet with business in the front and party in the back.
Yes.
I was saying to Cara, I'm wondering, because we've never had you and Corey on at the same time. I'm wondering if maybe somehow you are both like long lost brothers, with the Roberts last name.
But one with hair and one without.
Yeah, I think if we're related in any way whatsoever, he stole all of my hair. So
You can get away with it, Ed. I don't think I can get away with it, as we said earlier. So, yep. But I'd be happy to be considered in his camp. So there we go, Cara. I'm happy to be on the panel with Ed.
And Ed, you're doing so much in that mobile space. And, tonight to have, the leaders of WarCloud and Busy Car with us, Ed, really, really fits right into what you're doing there at Bozard.
absolutely. Well, in today's time, and really we can go back 10 years and we'd say in today's time and go forward 10 years, we would always say that we got to do more with less. And really what that means is we have to be more efficient. And that's what you got here tonight is some guys that allows us to be more efficient. Some allows us to fill a little void when somebody's out or whatever else, or to automatically process something so that we can resource other people. And then others just it keeps the production rolling. So these are things on both sides that really bring efficiency to what we do.
Ed, you got a big store. Give us the number again. How many technicians, how many service advisors, and how many mobile units on the road?
10 mobile units on the road, 27 service advisors, and 88 technicians.
Wow.
So a couple folks there. We write about 340 repair orders a day and have fun with it every single day.
And Steve Hill, you've been on so many times. You're always with us with some of the latest technology. You run a big shop too. Give us the numbers on technicians at I-10 Toyota and service advisors.
I don't know. Next to Ed, it just doesn't feel quite so big. But we've got 43 technicians, 10 service advisors, and 5 express advisors. So we're mid-sized.
Wow.
Stay busy. We stay busy.
That's a big story. You can embrace it there.
Yeah.
That's a big story.
So Ed, you announced, or you were with us a couple weeks ago when we had the news about, Ford putting some extra horsepower in for the dealers who've got all these mobile vans. Not everybody has 10 vans, Ed. However, you've made really good use of those vans. And talk to us a little bit about that, because you gave us that term trip value that Kara and I have been coining. Now, I think we're going to even file the trademark for that. So
There you go. Every time someone asks me, how do you make mobile vans work? It's, well, how can you? And the opportunity is ours to find a way to make it work. But after you go through the conversation, you talk about opportunities of what you can do out in field and what you can't do in field and who can drive those vans and what level of technicians you got to have. They still, at the end of it, come up with, I can't make it pencil. And what that really means is I can't make it pencil because I don't want to make it pencil. I'm not ready to embrace it yet.
Yep.
And Ford announced a program, I guess about 3 weeks ago now, but it retros back to January 3rd, that really erases that issue from us. And it's allowed every Ford dealer to be able to do mobile service, pick up and delivery if they choose to do so. And they want to offer it to customers for free, whether it's CP or warranty. And Ford will give us an hour of labor rate, rounded down to the nearest $10. So if you're 167, they'll pay $160 to go do a mobile service. Now, obviously, there's criteria that you got to do to get that. You have to be a certain percentage of mobile and a certain percentage of pickup and delivery. But what Ford's saying is, we realize that our customers want remote services, whether it's with the vehicle transaction of buying the vehicle, pickup and delivery, or mobile service, and we're going to help you get there. Well, everybody's excuse is I can't make it pencil. Well, now they've erased that. So if you can't make it pencil and you still don't want to do mobile service, I need to hear the next excuse that's coming along.
Yep. And Corey, our friend Mark Mickens, who we were talking about just a few moments ago in the green room, said the big thing that he heard over the last couple of years was from a lot of other dealers, how does this pencil, Mark? How does it pencil? And he said, if you're asking that question, it won't, because it's not going to work with just oil changes, Corey. We've got to be creative and we got to think out of the box. And that's the kind of thing that Ed and Mark are known for doing. And here comes Ryan and Mike with Busy Car. Ryan, you've got a great story, great value proposition. And, here you are, I think, in the right place at the right time and not by accident.
Yeah, we're excited about what we're doing. We love working with Ed and his team down at Bozard. I'm also a dealer myself. So we started Busy Car inside of one of my stores, and mobile was a little tricky. Everything's always a little tricky when it's new. I still remember when Express Service was new and everybody said that's not going to work either. So it just takes time for everybody to adapt. I'd say we love following Ed on LinkedIn and seeing some of the new stuff he's doing, but there's two ways we kind of look at mobile. If you're a dealer and you're thinking about getting started, this Ford subsidy is incredible. But the two ways we look at it is, if you start with recalls, you kind of have a hook to get consumers. You know exactly what your revenue is going to be. It's a guarantee. And a lot of those customers we reach out to, unfortunately, they've defected. And so by offering them mobile repair, you're giving them that opportunity to get back in front of them, surprise and delight, and really over deliver, which is great for surveys and increasing CSI. And I won't spoil my other idea, but Ed's doing it already too, and we really like doing recalls en masse.
A lot of great friends in the chat tonight. Sean Butler, Tony Owens, Coralie Zoof is in there. Robert Miggs from Carter Myers. Robert, good evening. I'm going to have Liza here later this week on one of the segments that we're doing. Ryan, traditionally, the old way of recalls is the letter coming in the mail reminding me or letting me know there's a recall on my vehicle, and me putting that letter aside and maybe or maybe not taking care of it. Maybe they send a follow-up. Maybe I remember, but that's really how it's been done over a long period of time. And then maybe the business development center may be making some outbound reach.
Yeah, so we were visiting a dealer just outside of Philadelphia today, nice sized dealer, and they acknowledge. I mean, they have a BDC, a service BDC, but the trick to making recalls work at scale is automation. It's just got to run in the background. You know, I work with almost 36 vendors in my dealer group. I don't need another tool. I don't need another portal. And my service advisors and my service managers definitely do not want any more noise being thrown at them. And so what we understood when we started Busy Car was that it had to run in the background, kind of this automagical process where you turn it on and appointments just get scheduled with recalls. We're checking parts availability, bay availability, and it's really important for service managers to just have that easy access.
And Ryan, is this AI involved in this process?
That's the hot topic this year, right? So lots of stuff going on with AI. Some really cool announcements from the huge tech players in the last few days with Microsoft and Google. We kind of got hooked on the AI train about 16 months ago, and we saw the power that it has. And what we've done is we've baked AI into everything that we do. So without having to have a human supervise, we can go out and find vehicles with recalls and schedule them in stores like Bozard Ford by using these tools that, you know, they don't sleep, they don't take days off, they do it right every time. And then when they make mistakes, we can see it, we can tweak the AI, and we're able to go in there and make everybody's life a little bit easier. So AI is going to be the theme, I think, for 2023.
And Mike and Ryan, Kara and I have a friend who's a dealer, a Ford dealer. He's also a race car driver. And Kara, you know who I'm talking about. And Ryan, you mentioned that he came to you about installing it in his many rooftops. I believe he has more than a dozen. And initially, they were going to do an orientation for the service managers. And he was getting in the race car, and he came back out, and he asked you a question about if it was necessary to get those service managers involved, because he kind of thought it through. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've got a great partner in Bob Tasca, Bob 3. I think he's at 32 rooftops now. Every time I go online, he's bought a new store. So great to see his success. Yeah, we were talking to him in his race pit. You know, that he races for Ford Motor. And we showed him the product. He's like, this is great, automated. This is great, right into the DMS. This is great. And he gets out of his car right before he's going to go down the racetrack, and he goes, why am I training anybody? Why are we even telling anybody we're doing this? Just turn it on. And that was that light bulb moment for us. So now when we onboard stores, we ask the VP of fixed ops, or we ask the general manager, we don't need to train anybody on this. We don't need to let them log in. Don't you want a report? We'll just give you a report at the end of the month of all the work we schedule. And that's been a game changing. And I think for a lot of dealers, we got other dealers on the call tonight. They want simplicity, and they just want it to run.
And Mike Murray, you've been involved with a lot of technology during your career, a lot of successful technology. And it seems that when we keep it simple for everybody, not just the consumer, but the dealer and the managers and the advisors, Mike, it seems to work the best.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Anytime you can bring technology, especially as it applies to fixed operations, where it simply operates and no one has to make any changes, process changes or otherwise inside the store, it's easy to adopt. When you have to change and train on new processes, that's when the wheels kind of start falling off. And I know that everyone in their store has been in that similar situation where the technology seems great, but it's the devil in the details is implementing and getting the advisors to actually follow that process, or the porters, the greeters. So Busy Car just operates in the background. We don't need anybody involved. There's no change in process. And therefore it's really easy to implement and start seeing the ROI really quickly with us. So it's certainly great to be a part of that.
So Ed, the company's name is Busy Car. I know that you have been working with and aware of Busy Car for some time. Ryan's and Mike's company, Good Evening Sticks Brown, is working with a number of OEMs, including Ford, on the mobile piece. And, Ed, talk to us about that recalls and how important that could be to a dealer's business.
Well, we all have the information of what the recalls are when they come out. So we know whether we can do it remote or not. And most of the time, there's very few that we can't do remote. And Busy Car is just what it says. It says, if you want to be busy, we'll help you be busy. Whether it's in a car or a truck or whatever else, we don't have to take these big old giant vans out to do a recall. We can do that with anything. So when I say I got 10, I really have as many as I have employees. And so it's an opportunity to help us build that trip value, as we talked about in previous sessions. And we like to go to a customer that's got a missed appointment. They've already told us what's wrong with their vehicle, so we know whether we can do it remotely or not. They couldn't come in for whatever the reason. Why lose that? And then if we can add some of those things onto it, let's add some of those things onto it. So it's a way to get mobile, to get us in the motion of going through mobile, because as we go forward, let's look 10 years out, and we're trying to figure out how to get EVs back in our service drives, we got to go to them, because everything with those things can be done remotely. And there was a question that popped up a few minutes ago. Can we do tires? Ted, I think you got a picture that you can answer that question with, right?
Yes, sir. I got that. I'll bring it up here. Give me a moment.
We can do tires. We can charge an EV while we're doing the tires. It's all about what we walk through your shops. You guys that are at dealers, walk through your shops and look and see, or ask the technician, do you have to have a lift to do this job? And more times than not, they don't even have the hood open. They're sitting in the driver's seat, a laptop in their lap, and they're reprogramming something. All that stuff can be done out in field, and it doesn't have to come there. When it doesn't have to come there, we don't move it around the building and we put 5 people in it to wash it, to park it, to pull it back around or whatever else. We lessen the chance of damage to the customer's vehicle. The level of trust is there because it's right in front of them. We talk about picture sale and video sales, live sales too. When you can show it to them right with them standing there, that works as well. Probably works the best. But you have to own it. And it's about making that mental mind shift. Customers do not want to darken our doors. Let's quit trying to force them to darken our doors. Let's go darken theirs. And when we do that, we'll win a customer for life.
Ryan, I want to come over to Corey in a moment on work, how all that works in the AI. But before I do, Ryan, you had mentioned to me also your technology at Busy Car makes sure that we have the parts on hand when the customer comes in for that visit. Dan Barris over at Traction, I think that's a very important part as well, having them in stock. Ryan, talk to us real briefly about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so Busy Car, we're integrated with, with about 15 OEMs at this point, 15 brands. So we have, not only do we have parts integration at the OEM level, but we're fully integrated in the store, so at the DMS level and at the service scheduling. So instead of having a customer show up or going out into the field and trying to, use a mobile truck to repair that recall, there's nothing worse than the customer coming in and they're expecting service done and we don't have the part. And so we're checking supply chain, we're checking DMS. We even integrate with the parts managers, order on behalf of the parts manager. And we can also send them an alert saying, hey, you got a Takata airbag coming in, or a hood latch, or a fuel pump issue. We have the specific part number, or we'll even show them the gross profit that they need, that they'll get on that. So it's a pretty deep integration.
So Corey, we're hearing about this new revolutionary recall technology, and you and Jim have been pioneering this WAR cloud, filing for warranty reimbursement. Corey, take us through that, because you've hit a milestone recently with a large number of dealers. And I had Jim on the show a few weeks ago, and he talked to me about what it's going to look like, number of dealers using WAR cloud at the end of the year. He had some amazing stats, as he always does. But Corey, you're again in the sweet spot once more.
Well, again, Ted, thanks for having me on. And actually, I'm just a puppy. I'm not even 3 weeks old, but I think I've seen a lot and heard a lot and had the opportunity to attend NADA and saw exactly what I anticipated and what Jim talked all about. What I do know is geez, Ryan and Mike, what you guys are talking about, what you're doing at Busy Car, just seems like a similar playbook that we have here at WarCloud. Jeff Scher jumped in and even said, properly designed technology is actually invisible. And in many respects, people would say that you speak about warranty and boy, it's a pretty boring topic. Well, it's not a boring topic to Ed Roberts when he said, he has 3 warranty, folks administering and processing claims, and that it's a cost to Ed. But warranty is, as much as we think it's one of the last frontiers, it probably isn't, because there's many innovators like you, Ryan, like Jim, having Dan and Traction on the phone or on the call here today. But WarCloud really began 5 years ago. And what Ryan was talking about, what he brought to life was, it just doesn't happen overnight. There was a tremendous amount of integrations, all those powerful integrations that you talk about. Imagine coming to life with a warranty solution and not having the rules carefully curated from the OEMs. Imagine trying to just abolish some of the best practices that Ed Roberts put in place. Imagine not all the various integrations in the DMS that we talked about. And then once those come to life, they have to operate at scale. And that's what Jim Roach has been talking about. Jim and his team and data scientists saw this years ago and have invested millions and millions of dollars, and a lot of data scientists making this solution invisible. And the reason is when Jim was out there doing some of his work and just doing discovery, he said that he happened to be talking to somebody and walked right past the warranty advisor's desk. And the fixed ops director said, "Jim, you just passed an opportunity." And Jim said, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "That stack of paper is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars." That's when Jim said he got a group of friends together and began all that hard work that Dan and Mike had talked about with BusyCard and what WarCloud has come to life today. 5 years of building, millions of dollars have invested, curating all of that information, collecting, curating, cleansing, and then making an invisible solution that, number one, is there's never a day off, nobody's sick, and then more importantly, every day and every week, these people work really hard, but are they gathering all that intelligence? There's new rules, new permissions, all type of credentialing going on each and every day. Ryan made us busy, but it's all true. But behind it, whether it's AI or machine learning, we're just getting better and smarter. Most important thing, Ed, we talked before our conference today, and Ed gave us a figure of what he's paying his 3 administrators. It's not about what you're paying, but what it is let's use that capital wisely. So if we can cut the cost, number one, cut the cost by 60%, but also for every RO, in addition to the good work of what BusyCar is doing in terms of helping bringing that opportunity in, but of what Jim Roach said, of the nearly 300 folks that came on our platform in 1 year, they're recognizing that for each RO, and the average RO, warranty RO is about $400, we're seeing a 22% lift in what's happening. But we're discounting that by 10% because we're saying, yes, there's additives. I mean, we are getting more in parts and labor rate from the OEM, but if we discount it to say that even if we take 12%, if you can get an additional because of the AI, the machine learning, and knowing that we can get an extra 10th here, 2 tenths there, and if in fact you apply it to an average dealer, you can get an additional $60,000 in revenue. But more importantly, you can focus on what you said, Ed. Focus on what you want to do is those customers that darken your doors, you need to make sure that they have the best customer experience. No one to this day has introduced both automation and technology in the warranty space. And then so you all have heard from Jim Roach. And again, several weeks ago, we had a very serious conversation and he enticed me. I happened to see it come to life at NADA. And as a result of NADA, we're approaching 54 new dealers and groups that have, begun to see the WarCloud story. So just in a quick nutshell, I could talk about it forever too. But what Ryan has put together, the things that we put together, and WarCloud is once again the only automated technology that takes it away. I mean, we don't want to necessarily displace that service, that warranty advisor, right? Processing claims. Let them do something else that's really important to dealership, right? Right, Ed, right, Steve? But at the same time, what's happening, it's either being processed manually in the dealership or it's being processed manually in some type of service bureau. but don't you want the power of that technology to make sure that you get compensated? I bet you, Ed, you want to be compensated for every dollar, and you, Steve, that you're entitled to. You don't want to pay a penny more, but you want to get every penny that you're entitled to, and WarCloud can ensure people that that's what they're getting.
Steve, I want to ask you, because you've been involved with a lot of technology as we see it here on the roundtable, and you've been very successful at getting the people side to embrace that. Steve, what are some of your thoughts? Because this is coming. I mean, it's here now. I mean, we're hearing
It's
about
here.
it, recalls and warranty process.
Oh, absolutely. It's here. And this is what I like about my job, because we get with companies that do all the hard, heavy lifting so we can put the resources back into that customer experience, building the processes, building the procedures to where they don't see what goes on in the background. And by having technology step in, I hear it from others all the time. Oh no, the old way. We've never done it like that before. And no, the old way's done. If we don't adapt, everything's changing. So we need to be ahead of the game, and having folks that have done all this heavy lifting behind the scenes. These are the companies that I want to associate with, because it allows me to get back to that customer experience. And yeah, absolutely. This is what is going to get from just where we are now to where we are in 10 years. In California, they're already phasing out the combustion engines. We have to be thinking about 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What are we doing to bring them in? Are we going to them? I love what Ed said. Are we going out there? What are we doing to build that experience? And this is it. Technology. It's it.
Kara, you've spent the past 3.5 years in dealership, a woman in retail. You and I were talking this afternoon about this AI, and we were talking about this very question about what's going to happen in the next couple of years. And I know you wanted to, had a couple of things that you wanted to ask as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all on our minds. Will that technology one day replace, people in dealerships? We're saying right now that we don't want it to, but what do you guys think in the next 10 years or so? Is there going to be less people in dealerships?
Technology never replaces people. It enhances what they do. And I preach a lot to my people and outside that I want my people to be effective. But unfortunately, they end up being busy in a lot of cases because they're picking up a lot of busy work. And these two tie right in together. I didn't mean for it to be that way, but it's going to be that way. Busy car keeps you busy, and WarCloud takes the busy work away from your people so they can become more effective. And I want people to be more effective rather than busy.
Yeah, and I see it now, Ed. Busy car helps us get make that revenue, and WarCloud helps us collect that revenue.
Absolutely.
It kind of goes hand in hand, Ed.
It's a great question, Kara, and I think this year we're going to see the AI generation out. As a former Marine, we talk about force multipliers. So what tools can we give our people that make them more effective? In the military, it's night vision goggles or helicopters. But in the auto world, there is so much stuff that we repeat on a daily basis. And if there were just a better, more effective way to do it, better tools, better tech, like what WarCloud's doing, like what Busy Car's doing, it's a fantastic way to expand the business.
Yeah, and if I can just jump in real quick too, Kara, one of the things that we bring, and I appreciate that's a great question, but as much as our folks are busy every day getting accuracy, currency of information, and bringing those efficiencies at scale, we see what Ed's doing. My goodness, Steve and his 46 bays or 46 techs. So it really is currency of information, accuracy, and then being able to grow at scale like all of our friends want to do, and that's what technology enables.
It's Steve. It's really humbling to be here on the forefront and to see and hear some of this stuff, Steve. Before others do, and witness, Steve, some of these best practices that retailers like yourself and Ed are making happen.
But that's why we come and we watch what Ted Ings is bringing to the table, because it gives us that advantage of being on that front line and seeing what's there, what's working, and I want to be right there knee deep in it and get it going and get it incorporated and build those procedures right around it. So thank you, Ted.
Mike and Ryan and I were talking just a couple weeks ago There's going to be another Fixed Ops Roundtable coming up in May, the mullet event, Ed. Okay, and we were talking that perhaps at that event, Ryan, we may even have a panel with some retailers, and get a panel together with dealers, maybe even like Ed and Steve, and talk about how this is working for them. Ryan, I'm excited about doing that because the panels really blow it up here on the roundtable. And Corey, nothing against Jim Roche. We love Jim because he brings some amazing information every time. But I mentioned to Jim also, perhaps even a panel with the War Cloud, some of your retailers as well, to hear it from their mouths. Because when Steve and Ed share it, Ed, when you guys say it really carries a lot of weight.
We love it. I think Ted and Ryan, we're fortunate to serve that dealer that you're visiting right now, and they're taking advantage of the War Cloud solution. So there are probably lessons learned that perhaps a panel can use out of that visit and these two companies coming together. So perhaps that would work out real well for us, Ryan.
Some good stuff. All right, I'm excited. We're about at time. Hey, everybody, thank you tonight for coming in. Short notice for most of you for putting this all together. I'm looking forward to coming back and sharing more of this on the roundtable and hearing about a lot of the success from War Cloud and from Busy Car. Ryan Maher, I want to thank you so much tonight. Mike Murray, Corey Roberts, great friend for a long time at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, as is Steve Hill, and of course Ed Roberts. And Kara, what are the dates for that next one again?
Your mullet event, Ted, it's happening this coming May 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. So I know everybody's going to be watching now, Ted, just to see you with that hair that your daughter told me the other day that you had through the pandemic. So I know he can grow it.
Yes, I think she has some photos too. So we'll have to watch out for that.
Kara can show up in leg warmers and jellies.
I will.
Yes, see, double thumbs. Got it. Yes.
I think she has a plan, Mike. I think there's something in the works. So
I can't wait to see it all. Can't wait to see everyone dressed up in their 80s gear.
There we go.
And Ed, you've already got your wig.
Yes, I do.
So I'll post that on LinkedIn. So.
Good times.
Super
It's
stuff.
going to be so much fun. I can't wait for it. We got a long road ahead, it seems like, but I know it'll be right around the corner. So we're gearing up for the 80s, and hopefully all of you guys will be there dressed in your 80s gear. Thank you so much for being on with us tonight. Thank you for everybody watching with all the comments, and we will see everyone on Monday at 8 p.m.
Sounds good.